Hello and welcome to the first episode of Kings Point Spotlight. I'm your host, Lieutenant Tyrone Broxton, and today I have the pleasure of being joined in the Barber and Dean White Admissions Building with Lieutenant Miguel Maldanado, who is a 2007 graduate of the United States Merchant Marine Academy. Lieutenant Maldanado, thank you very much for being here and for joining us on the first episode of Kings Point Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Now, what brings you back to Kings Point?
I'm currently doing my annual training with the U.S. Navy. I'm taking an electrical engineering course with GMATs.
Okay, very good. And how long have you are you going to be here for that?
12 days.
Okay, so you have another few days with us then.
Right.
Okay, very good. Now you're a native of, well, you were born in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But you're pretty much, you've been homegrown in the state of Connecticut. Where exactly in Connecticut?
Well, I was born in Arecibo, Puerto Rico, and then when I was young, we moved over to Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Okay.
Where I was raised for 21 years.
And what high school? You have to give your high school a shout out.
I went to Aquaculture High School and also Central High School in Bridgeport.
Now I understand that high school, Aquaculture High School, is a very, very good high school.
Right, it's a maritime high school, which we do the farming of the seas, which is aquaculture.
Okay, now I'll be looking at that high school very, very shortly. Now Kings Point is known for its options and opportunities, obviously. So entering your senior year, if you were talking to some of the midshipmen, exactly what are some of the career options that you had, you know, entering your senior year as a midshipman here?
Well, there were a lot of maritime companies that come to visit the academy, and you have the chance to apply to these companies. Some of the companies which hired me before I graduated was Sea Star Lines, and they have 3 container ships, 3 steamships that operate out of Puerto Rico, and operate to Florida and New York. And that was one of the companies that hired me. Military Sea Lift Command, shoreside and seaside, you know, offshore, hired me too. And I also joined MEBA, which is a union you're allowed to sail with, and those were my options when I graduated. What I ended up doing after I graduated, I sailed for about 2 years with Seacor Marine, which is the offshore company in the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay.
And there I gained a lot of experience with engineering, which is what I majored in, marine engineering. And after that, I decided to work shoreside for a bit with the U.S. Coast Guard. Okay.
Now, what exactly are you doing now, and what's your position, and what are some of your day-to-day daily responsibilities?
Well, with the U.S. Coast Guard, I'm a civilian marine inspector out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, working in the prevention department, and we carry out day-to-day inspections with their port state control program, which is an inspection of foreign vessels and also domestic vessels. But with the port state control, we're just making sure that foreign vessels coming into U.S. are safe and they don't pose any type of harm to our port. Okay. And we do that by enforcing the conventions such as SOLAS, STCW, MARPOL, Low Lines, and International Labor Organization Convention.
All right, sounds good. Now, how did you learn about the academy, and why did you apply?
Well, since I went to Maritime High School, I knew about all the maritime academies, such as Mass Maritime Academy, SUNY Maritime, Great Lakes Maritime, and then the Merchant Marine Academy. One of my instructors was a good friend with alumni from this academy, and he set up an interview and a tour of the academy, which once after speaking with the midshipmen and touring the campus, I knew I wanted to go here.
Okay, sounds great. Now, at first, you were accepted to the preparatory school, which at that time we utilized the Naval Academy Preparatory School, whereas now we utilize the New Mexico Military Institute. So talk about that experience and how that set you up for what ultimately became academic success here at the academy.
Since my SAT scores were low in high school, I didn't meet the requirement for Kings Point, so they decided to send me to NAPS, which was probably the 10 hardest months of my life academically, because I don't think I was prepared for the rigorous academics here. But after the 10 months of NAPS, the first year here was very easy for me. I had a 3.8 GPA, and what was great about having such a high GPA was that set you up for the 4 years where you're here. Because after every year it gets harder and harder, especially in whatever major you choose. So by senior year I was fine. I graduated with a 3.0 GPA.
So for all of the students that do attend NIMI right now, who may be struggling or thinking that they can't make it, what do you have to say to them?
Just keep at it. And I mean, it might seem hard, but it's definitely going to be worth it. And just it'll set you up for your first year here, especially dealing with the whole military life too.
Okay.
You'll have the academics in good hand.
Okay. Now, indoctrination is a bit of a shell shock for most midshipmen, particularly those with no prior military experience, whether they're JROTC or maybe had the fortune of going to a preparatory school first to get them acclimated to that environment. Here, indoctrination is a little bit different in comparison to the other military academies, being that it's only 16 days. So although it's short, it is very grueling. Talk about that experience a little bit here.
Well, indoc for me, it wasn't that bad. It all depends on how motivated you are and your dedication, how bad you really want to meet your goals. I think indoc was all right. I think your 4 years here are even harder after indoc because you have to deal with the academics and the military life. It's all on dedication, and then if you're really dedicated, it's not going to seem that bad.
Okay, sounds good. Now, you majored in marine engineering?
And shipyard management.
And shipyard management. What made you decide? Obviously, we have a course KP 100 in that first trimester that introduced you to all the majors. Why was it shipyard management that was the most appealing to you?
Well, you're given the option of deck or engine, and you take certain classes like KP 100, which help you decide what you want to do. After taking KP 100, I've always loved engine, so I knew I wanted to go into marine engineering. But shipyard management was a different program, and after talking to a couple instructors, they told us what the program was about, and after doing an internship at a shipyard for 2 months, I knew that was the major that I wanted to graduate with.
Okay, all right. One of the most appealing components of the Merchant Marine Academy, in my opinion, is the sea year. All of the midshipmen get an opportunity to travel the world for 1 whole year, 4 months sophomore, 8 months junior. Where are some of the places that you had the opportunity of going, and what are some of the ships that you worked aboard?
Well, what's great about Kings Point, unlike the other academies, is that you have a sea partner that you travel the road with. The other academies have training ships. Well, I had the chance to sail with my sea partners all over the road, such as, my first vessel was the Matson Mahi Mahi, and we traveled to Japan, China, all over California, and that was a container ship. The second vessel I sailed on was the USNS Watson, which was an MSC ship, and we sailed South Korea, Japan, and Saipan, and we carried military cargo for the U.S. Army.
Okay.
And the last vessel was a Horizon Hawaii, and that sailed out of Puerto Rico to New Jersey, carrying containers.
Okay, sounds good. And that was over the course of both sophomore and junior?
And yeah, and I also did that internship too at Dayton Shipyard in Charleston for 2 months.
Okay, awesome. Sounds great. Great experiences. Now, the Merchant Marine Academy is known as America's best kept secret. Speak to those midshipmen or those potential midshipmen that have been accepted already, and maybe on the fence, not exactly sure as to whether or not they should come to Kings Point or go to Duke or Yale or Harvard or even maybe one of the sister academies.
Well, Kings Point offers you so many opportunities after graduate, and it just opens up so many doors. Companies, maritime companies especially, know about this academy, and they know the kind of training and experiences that you have. Unlike the other academies, they know that you're ready once you graduate to start working. And so, once I graduated, I had so many opportunities, and these companies know the kind of training I had, so they put me in very good positions to manage companies or run their ships, which it's a great experience.
Now, lastly, if you had an opportunity of going back and reversing the clock maybe 10, 12 years ago, would you do it all over again?
This place is great, and I don't take anything back. I would do it again. It's a great experience, and the kind of friends you make out here are forever lasting, and the kind of experiences that you get to see out there in the world, it's indescribable.
All right. Lieutenant Miguel Maldanado, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you being here on the first episode of Kings Point Spotlight. And that concludes this first episode of Kings Point Spotlight. I'm Lieutenant Tyrone Broxton. Until next time, acting on verba, and go Mariners.